Fishing Gurus podcast.
Well, Adam Rooney, this is a bit strange, but I've got to say it. Welcome to the Fishing Gurus podcast.
Thanks, Mr. Godfrey.
Mr.
Toby. Better looking than that anyway, ain't you?
Wait, I think it's a good time to tell everyone he won't be coming back.
You fired him, didn't you?
I did.
And why
Yeah.
why did you fire him?
I'm one of the few people that actually really liked his beard. And when he shaved it off, I said, mate, we just can't work together anymore.
It's like Samson when he lost his hair, wasn't it?
Exactly that.
It's gone now, isn't he?
Mate, honestly, I think he looks about 12 years old now.
Yeah. Is he back to busking?
I think so, yeah. Well, he's going to need to make a living somehow, mate. No, he's, for everybody watching and listening, you're not going to be stuck listening to me for too long, but he's away on filming commitments, is that right? You are his boss.
Bit of both, yeah. He's, we've got Match Academy,
Yes.
product meetings, filming expeditions, because he's off away for the World Championships.
He is, yeah. So we're going to do
I don't even know where they're going this year.
No, I don't either.
It's
actually.
like proper last minute. He's panicking a bit. I've
Is
been
he?
getting his new poles ready today.
Does Matt panic?
Nah.
He doesn't have that vibe about him, does he?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't show it, but he's very thorough. So,
Yeah.
he can't make it back into the office today. So my job today, even though I've got 800 million other jobs,
You
is
were
to
busy today.
sort his pole out for the poles out for the World Champs.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they take 3 full poles.
Yeah.
And probably 15 top 4-5 kits.
All
and
right,
that.
so you had a fair bit to do then.
Oh,
is what
mate,
you're
yeah.
saying.
So, you know the big rod bag, the Guru rod bag,
Yeah.
12 tube, that is full to the brim. Probably about 25 grand's worth of kit in
So
there.
he's got no excuse now. He should be coming back with gold.
Win it, shouldn't he, really?
He should do.
Yeah,
Well,
he probably will.
we're going to do, we'll tell everyone about our show today in a minute, but I've got another one with him as well. I'm going to try and catch up with him.
Yes,
the
I've
World
heard this.
Yes.
That'd be good. That'd be a
So-
first time, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So we're going to phone in.
World Champs
Hopefully,
podcast.
World Champs podcast.
Hey, let's hope he gets picked to be a bit
Yeah,
rubbish
yeah.
if he's reserve, wouldn't it?
I've just got this image. Yeah. How you getting on, Matt? I'm not fishing today.
Yeah, just riddling some bloodworm and joker for the lesser fishing. I don't think there's much chance of that.
No. I'm sure he'll smash it, mate. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But we'll tell everyone what we've got today. We've got a top 5. What we've got? We've got a top 5 best Guru podcast moments.
Or special moments.
special
shall we? Can't
moments.
say best because they're all good, aren't they?
They are all brilliant.
This
but
was hard to pick, wasn't it?
We've had a good chat, haven't we? We've gone for their best moments / best episodes.
Yeah. Well, we've kept it a bit sort of with Matt in mind. World Championships. sort
Exactly
of
that.
thing.
There's a little bit of a theme there, a little bit of an insight.
Yeah, we could probably do another one.
Yeah, but no,
Funniest moments.
They are. Yeah, God, there's been a few of them, but they're. There's so many. Like I've said to Matt and you as well, I loved making the Guru shows. Everybody's got brilliant stories.
Yeah.
You know, from yourself to Darren recently to Harry's not long been on.
Yeah,
His show
that was brilliant, yeah.
what a legend. And to everybody, he did pay for the Nando's afterwards as
Did
well,
he?
as promised.
Wow.
So I got extra halloumi
You've got a
fries and
northerner to
everything.
pay
I
for
know, yeah.
Nando's. Do they even have Nando's up north?
No, he doesn't. He was telling us about this story about. Yeah, they don't have cod and chips. They have haddock and chips and stuff. So I don't think
down the old kebab shop in
That's it.
Beverley.
Yeah, so I think Nando's is a level above for them.
No, interesting, really cool stories, and
He's
what a champ.
legend. So it was hard to pick top 5 moments, wasn't it? But we've narrowed it down to some good stories. haven't
We have. Yeah.
Do you want to introduce the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my all-time heroes.
Yeah.
And one of my best mates as
Yeah.
well. I just think the story's just epic. Could probably be first, this one. It's just such an epic story.
Yeah.
It's Darren Cox, who was on recently. And this was when he was a junior.
This is brilliant. I said to Matt, I've told everyone, this is the best capture story. I've done about almost 80 episodes now.
Yeah.
The best capture story out of all 80.
Yeah.
It had me and Matt, we were gripping the table for the whole thing. I mean, it was brilliant.
He tells a good story, Darren, as well, doesn't he?
doesn't he?
So, and he's got, I've known him for years now, and he could tell you a million stories. But this one for me is
just epic,
it's just
isn't it?
epic.
Should we show him?
Let's show him.
Come the next week, the National, I drew my peg, and I'll never ever forget it. I was at Grimley. It's called Grimley.
I don't know it. I don't know the Severn
I've
at
never
all.
been there since.
Right.
But I've fished lots and lots of places around there. But Grimley, and they said to me, oh yeah, that's a good area for some bream. There's like a little paddock. You go over Stile, there's a little paddock, and that's where they catch the bream. And so they dropped us off on the bus, got the tackle out, told us which way we were going and went down that. So I've gone over the little paddock. I saw the number. I'm thinking, I'm about 6 pegs down. I'm looking at how long the paddock is and thinking, am I in it? I mean, anyway, I had to go over the next stile, so I was gutted. It was like,
oh no!
But I sort of came around this bit of a bend, and it's on a massive cow drink, and it looked lovely. There was reeds in the peg out a bit, and this sort of cow drink, sandy, muddy cow drink. It was dry, so it was all right. And it was red hot day, but there was a few clouds. I got to my peg, put my box down, sat in my box. I'll just have a drink. So I took the top off my flask. I just sipping my tea, and I looked down, and as I looked down, this big cloud that was in the sky moved, and all I could see were these huge carp in front of me. There were 6 or 7 great big carp. I'd never seen a river carp in my life before. 16, 17-year-old kid. Wow. So I've had to go into stealth mode, I've sort of dribbled off my box. I'm going, oh my God, what am I going to do? So the team plan, I was like, I've got to set up, I've got to do what the team said. I'm thinking, but I'm going, I've got to have a go for those carp. So I was praying. I was an hour and 3/4 there, praying that these carp wouldn't move. And they didn't move. So I'd set all my gear on. I thought, what I'm going to do? How am I going to try and catch one of those? I'll never forget, because Ray Mumford was a peg below me.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like a bit gobsmacked at Ray Mumford, but as soon as I saw these carp, I'd forgotten who was there. And somebody saw the carp and they're going, oh, look at this. I'm going, get back. Like a 16-year-old kid, please get back. Because I'd learned about watercraft. And I was asked, I said, please stay back, get down. So at the start of the match, I had about 5 different people, stewards and walkers and that, laid on the top of the flood bank like that, looking at me. And I decided that my plan of attack was I'd have one go at these carp. I thought, if I get it wrong, I'm not going to catch one, but it doesn't matter because it's worth it. So there was one really big one. There was one quite big, and then there were 7 or 8 different ones that were. Now the big ones look £20, and the smaller ones look £7, £8, £9. So there was one looking away from me. So I'd set up a 13-foot power match rod. It was a Daiwa match rod that a guy called Dave Salmon lent me for the national, and I set it. I really beefed the tackle up, £4 Maxima.
Yes! Never getting broke.
Oh, no. But, I mean, in hindsight, it should have been £8 titanium, should it really? Something like that. Something a lot thicker. And I just put a size 12 Super Spade on.
Cracking up.
And a lobby. So
on a bomb?
No, free line. They were there. They were from here to that wall. They were a 13-foot rod away, and the only reason they didn't see me was there was like a bank of weed, and it just must have just been enough to keep the cover off them.
Right.
So I took a deep breath, and the hooter went, and I swung. I thought, I'm going to aim for that one that's facing that way because it can't see me. So if I drop this lobby over its head, there's a chance I'll catch it without spooking it. So I did it. So I swung it out, I dropped this lobby, and the lobby landed literally, when you're dobbing carp, mugging carp, and you think that I'm going to catch that one. I didn't know that because I didn't know that feeling before then, but it went like that, and as it got to eye level, this lobby just kicked, and it went sucked it in. No. I went, struck on, what have I done? And
You've got it on?
I've got it on.
Oh, yes.
This carp's gone.
I feel like I'm there.
That's what I was going to say. I'm just saying it.
This carp's gone through the weed bed, through the reed bed, and it's going, and it's taken 50 or 60 metres of line off, and the line's going through the reed bed, but the carp's down there. I think I've lost. What have you done, you idiot? You should be fishing for these little tiny gudgeon now. Oh my God. And it's like, and slowly but surely it started to slow down, thinking, But the line was still going down into the water in front of me, through this reed bed and the weed. So I pulled it a little bit, and I had like all this, it's a bit like Canadian pondweed. It was hanging over my line. I thought, oh God. So I've sort of given it a bit of a swing, and the weed has come off the line like that. I've pulled it, and as it was only the weed that was holding it through the reeds, so lifted up and it's come out of the reeds like this. So I've got my rod high in the air, and I'm pulling it, and this carp's come up the river. And it's gone into Ray Mumford's pegs. So he wasn't even looking. I don't think he didn't know what I got on. I was like, I've got him.
Well, were the people still behind you?
Yeah, people still behind me, and I'm like, and it's. So I've got this carp to me, and I've got a big deck because we were hoping for barbel, and I've got it close to me. I thought, come on, and it was where I was stood and where I was going to net it was shallow. So I had to get it to me like this, and I thought, got me now. I've got, whew, got it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, and it went in the net. It went. I thought it was going to swim out the net and break the net. It's the biggest fish I'd ever caught. It was massive, absolutely massive. They all said it's £20. That is £20, and I didn't have a clue. It's the biggest fish I'd ever seen. Never mind caught. So I put it in my keep net.
How did you feel when that went in net at that age? Can you remember it?
I feel like I just watched that bite from start to finish.
I'll tell you how I felt. I got a long bank stick to put on my keep net because I was afraid he was going to jump out. Honestly, I can still picture my keep net now. When I was stood up, it was almost at shoulder height because I was terrified. But the funniest thing one of the funniest things of the day was I put it in the net and I went, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do? It's like, well, I might as well fish the team plan. So I got my my hemp and castor feeder out, put 3 red maggots on 14 super spade, cast it out to the far bank, put the rod down and went ding, come back, sure that was a bite. Maggot smashed to bits. Put another 3 on, chucked out, ding, drop back, chub £2, next chub £2. I had 9 chub and a bream and a carp.
Never. What a national.
That was amazing. But there are 2 things that I regret. The first thing was I had 2 blokes come on the jetty opposite me, started fishing with 2 hours to go, never had another bite, which I was gutted about. I wasn't strong enough character then to say, excuse me lads, we're fishing national, could you just give me an hour? And which you'd do now. I would do anyway in such an important match like that, a team match. And the other thing was didn't have big enough scales to weigh me carp.
Never.
Yeah, the scales would only go to I think £12, and they just bottomed. So they put 2 scales back to back and weighed it and said that's the only way I can do it. Nowadays I would say no, you go get some scales and weigh it properly.
Leave it in the net.
Yeah, leave it in the net. Go get some scales. But they put 2 back to back, and anyway, they came to the conclusion that this carp weighed 13-12.
And how big did you think it was?
Well, I thought it was £20, but I'd never caught one that big before in my life, so it looked huge. But everybody behind me said that fish is £20. So basically, they called me into the steward's office afterwards and said, basically, this is how we've done it. We've regulated the scales. This is how it should be. So that's what we can only give you. But I came second in the national, and a guy called Sam Carr beat me. I had £31.15. He beat me by £1.7
No.
So, and the thing that was gutted as a young kid like that, the winner got an AS1 Team England box. And I'd been saving up for one. It took me another 2 years to get one.
No, mate, I feel
Oh,
a little bit sick after hearing that, if I'm honest.
What a first national, though. What
It
a
was.
first national
And
to fish.
one of the best things was I won a load of money off Billy Knott.
Did you really?
That was brilliant.
Adam, what have we got for number 4?
Well, number 4, it's probably not a story you'd pick from Tommy because he's got so many heroic stories and he's done and completed everything.
He's done it all, hasn't
The
he?
story for me on the podcast was old Keith Hobbs, Scuba Steve. You've just got to watch this one. So,
There's not a lot you can say. I remember when we were talking about it and I
Yeah.
said, look, we've got a clip. And before I even said it, you went, is it the diving board story?
definitely, yeah. Losing closing his pants off a diving board in Italy in front of everyone.
I'd have loved to have seen it.
This is one to watch.
Let's play it.
It were red hot, and what they did, we used to fish in the morning, and then at 1 o'clock we'd go to the local swimming pool, and this swimming pool, right, were Olympic size, diving boards, and everything like that, and they were like, I don't know, 200-300 Italians and 12 lads from Barnsley, and lastly we took us wives and everything, so, and we're all there. Anyway, first day they were all sat there having a beer. I mean, it were red hot. I mean, it were proper warm. And this 10-metre diving board, it were like, if there'd have been clouds, it'd have been in clouds. When you hold a 10-metre pole, it's only there, isn't it?
Yeah.
When it's a diving board, trust me, you're like that. Wow. So, all of a sudden, this whistle's gone from lifeguard. And we're going, what's going off here, like? And all of a sudden, everybody in the pool's parted. And I've looked up, and there's a bloke going to the top, and he's on top, and the crowd starts going, ooh. As he walks to end, they go, ooh. As he did a 13 double somersaults and a backflip, right? It's water. Bravo, bravo, like that. And Hobson says, I can do that. Go on then, Keith, get on with it. Right? No, I'm not doing it yet. I'm not going to do it yet. Go on, get on. No, I might do it later in the week, like that. So this only happened like 3 times a day. Usually about the same lunatic, right? And then it come to Friday, day before the match, right? So we sat there, whistle goes, right? Looks up, our hero, Keith Hobson.
He's up there.
He's walking up to the top. Well, we've gone nuts, right? We're on his feet. England, 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 and we're all cheering like that. Come on, Keith, England, like that. And all the crowd starts going, ooh, and he's come to end like that. We're all like that. He's walked and he's looked over and he must have gone, stuff that, right? He's walked back and started coming down steps, right? Well, we're gone now, right? We're doubled up on floor, laughing his head off, right? And now the Italians have got him, right? They started booing, right? Now 200 Italians are all booing him. We're doubled up, laughing up. He's got embarrassed. Now, I've known Keith 50 odd years. I've never ever seen him embarrassed. And he's embarrassed. He's run off. He's pushed him out of way. He's run off the second one, dove in, and his trunks have come off. Right? I can still see his red trunks there, or his shorts have come off, and he's come up with his bald head outside of these trunks. We're absolutely dying, right? We're gone, and he's just got his trunks, put them back on. Everybody's booing him but us, and he just jumped out, walked up, and gone, what's up with you all? I went to get a pint. I'm telling you, it was one of the funniest things.
Brilliant.
In fact, when I wrote the story, right, I thought I got to put it in because I could still see him doing it.
Yeah.
When I talk about it, I could see him doing it. And I sent it to Anne because she was there. Yeah. And I says to the kids, I says, just give that to your mum and see if I've got it right. And she texts, she says, that's fantastic. She said it's 100% that. And that was one of the funniest things I've ever had.
Well, Ads.
Yeah.
Clip number 3. When I did this podcast, I told a lot of people straight away it was my favourite show that, again, I've done throughout all of them, from start to finish.
Yeah.
And it's Dean Macy.
Yeah.
Now, I know it didn't have... Dean's a brilliant angler. Like, you fish with him. How long you fished with him for?
Seems like forever.
Too long is what you're politely saying, isn't it?
Probably... when did I meet? Probably 15 years now. 12, 15 years. First time we met each other was on a filming shoot.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was the second ever series of Fishing Gurus.
Yeah.
And we were down at Angler's Paradise.
Yeah.
And it was like, do you know Dean Macy? I was like, well, I've seen his name on a bit of fishing tackle before, but I didn't obviously know the history of Dean.
Yeah.
Spending a week with him, I soon knew everything about him.
Yeah.
He tells a brilliant story as well, and his story's epic. That man has done so much in his life.
He's brilliant. And when he came on for his podcast, I mean, we've got his gift here as well. I mean, the story around that gift was brilliant. Yeah. But yeah, he's... I don't want to, it is inspiring. There isn't another word for it.
Yeah, he's a true warrior.
Machine, really.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
He's, and the clip that we'll play for them in a minute, where he He won the gold medal at the 2000 and... Oh, I'm going to get it wrong now.
Oh, I did
2000?
take it. I'm not sure what year it was, but it was the one in Australia, Melbourne.
In Melbourne, yeah. I want to say 2008 or 2009. It was
Could have
either
been.
or.
Could have been, yeah. I'm
But
not 100%.
the clip, he picked up an injury, didn't he, in training?
Yeah.
And
Like pretty bad hamstring.
hamstring
Yeah.
went. Yeah. And in typical Dean fashion, didn't take that as defeat,
Yeah.
did he?
Sorry, mate, you're not going. Wrong. I am going.
You don't tell Dean you're not going.
Yeah.
And for him, I won't ruin the clip, but the journey he took there to just brilliant. Not everybody could do that.
No. Do you know what? He does that in his fishing now, though.
Yeah.
If someone tells him no or there's something not achievable, he achieves it.
Yeah.
That's what's so magical about Dean. Even to this day now he's old,
Yeah.
bold, and like really getting old.
Yeah, we just touched that Dean's very old.
Very old. But no, this is a wicked story.
Yeah.
And what an ending.
Mate,
Gold medal.
What an ending.
Gold
Fair play
medal.
to him. Let's watch it.
So I did everything absolutely perfect to bang on 3 weeks. So the day before, so I was flying out to Melbourne 3 weeks before the Commonwealth Games. The day before Melbourne, I go up to Melbourne Park in Chelmsford, which is an indoor track, to pick up my pole vault poles. Yeah, I know. Yes, kind of. But I go up there because that's where I used to do my indoor pole vault. Pick up all my pole vault poles, so I used to stay store them there. And do my last pole vault session. Anyway, 2 jumps in, I put the bar up to 480, cleared it like that, straight over. Looked at Greg, my coach, and I'm like, and I never jumped 480. 480 is my PB. I never jumped PBs in training.
And
ever.
you've just done 2 in a row.
No, I've jumped 470 first jump, 480 second jump. Didn't even touch the bar. I looked at Greg, I went, and I'm down scheduled to do 9 jumps, right? I looked at him and I went, one more? And he went, yeah. Because when it's good, it's good. Do you know what I mean? Halfway down the run, up hamstring goes.
No.
I'm like that, like flat on my face, right? I remember this weird guy come out with some of these like sort of like healing magnet balls and started rubbing them on my hamstring. I was like, get the fuck off me. Greg's like, he's only trying to help. I said, get him away from me now, boy. And I'm laying on my flat. I'm thinking, oh my God, like not as bad as what happened in 2002, but bad enough, right? So anyway, the whole team is out in Melbourne.
Did you know at this point what the injury was?
Yeah, straight
and
away.
what had happened?
Straight away, mate. If you get stabbed in the back of the leg, you know.
What are the
happened.
initial consequences of that?
3 weeks out to 3 to 4 weeks out. So let me tell you the story. So from there, all the team had gone out, but I knew the team doctor and I knew the team physio at Chelsea. So I called the wife. Wife come to get me. Went straight down to Chelsea. Had a scan at Chelsea. Had an 11 centimetre gash basically in my left hamstring, my takeoff leg, and straight there and then when you read the textbooks, you're like, well, that's a serious grade 2. That's a month out. I'm like, well, I'm flying to Melbourne tomorrow, and I've got 3 weeks, right? 3 weeks to the day before I do the Commonwealth Games, right? Something needs to happen, right? And I'm talking to Dean at Chelsea and Brian English. So Dean Keneally and Brian English, they were at Chelsea at the time, and they're like, Dino's, that's like, I don't know what you want me to say. And when you've worked closely with people, do you know what I mean? They become sort of friends. You can tell in their face when they don't want to tell you some shit news. Do you know what I mean? Right? Anyway, so I'm like that. I'm thinking, fucking hell. So I've come out of Chelsea. Lisa's in tears. And we're driving home. I'm sitting in the passenger seat. And we get home. Nothing's really said. And we get home. And I've got all my bags packed. All I've got to do is put my pole vault spikes in the bag, zip it up, fly to Melbourne the next day. And sort of Lisa's like, what are we going to do? I said, what do you mean what we're going to do? She goes, what are we going to do? I said, well, get them fucking spikes out of that bag, put them in that bag, zip it up, I'm going to Melbourne. She went, what? I said, I ain't stopping now.
And you're limping about at this point.
Yeah. First 2-3 days with a grade 2 like that, it's just rest, ice, compression, elevation, the standard sort of stuff. It's no surgery sort of thing. It's just, it's not a bad problem if you're...
Not 3 weeks away from a Commonwealth
if you're in a
Games.
pub side and play football on a Sunday, you have a month out, get a bit fatter, come back, rest. It's simple as that. You know what I mean? But when you're when you've got a time deadline like that, it's a serious proposition. Anyway, so I don't know why I jumped on the plane, upgraded to business class. Back then, like athletes didn't get anything. You were sat in chicken coops right at the back. Anyway, so I upgraded myself to try and get some extra leg room because they said just don't cramp the hamstring up. Anyway, long story short, gets all right to Melbourne. Neil and me other doctor Bruce meet me at the airport, straight to the hospital, another scan, same thing, and I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what they said at Chelsea. And their face was exactly the same as the guys at Chelsea, both of them. And all these 4 guys have been to my wedding, do you know what I mean? So they're good friends of mine, like I said. And I went, look, just do me a favour, promise me this. Give me your best for the next 3 weeks. I'll do the same, and then call it then. Don't call it now. All right? Because I remember how painful and the shit that I went through 4 years before, and I thought to myself, like, I ain't going through that again.
That's on your mind, obviously, all the time.
And also, I'm thinking, how can that happen 2 times on the bounce? At the only competition I'm probably odds on to win. Well, I was odds on to win. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so I didn't go to the warm-up track, didn't go to anything. There was a grass track behind the hotel, and 3 times a day I went out there and did some strides, so like just jogging sort of bits and bobs. And 4 times a day I saw the physio and the doctor, once in the middle of the night. Right?
Wow.
It was like it was like an army regimented mission, mate. It was the most perfect sort of little team you could ever. My coach came up to me as soon as I got there. He said, "What do you need?" I said, "Just leave me alone. I don't need nothing." Right? The first time I went and done some rehab runs over the track, my 100 metres was 37 seconds. What? You can fucking walk that. Do you know what I mean? 37.
Unreal.
Not that I was that. I was super quick. But because of the pain and because of the injury, that's as fast as I could get it.
What did you think when that happened?
Well, I thought I've got to start somewhere, right? And
So you didn't think it were impossible at this point?
yeah, I did. Every single day I thought it was
Right.
impossible. But every single day I thought I'm not quitting until they tell me I can't do it. Right? I weren't going to make that call. So 37, 35, 32, 27. I'm not knocking. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. We're doing the same thing every single day. Running 100, walking back. Just trying to get quicker, you know? Anyway, look, we're like 4 days out. And I've said, guys, you need to come down to this grass track with me. And they're like, what's happening? I said, just come down to the grass track.
So you've been there for 2.5 weeks at this
2.5
point,
weeks,
doing
yeah.
the same grass track day after day after day.
Monotonous. Mate,
No other training. That was good, wasn't it? Nearly knocked my glass over then. No other training, no other events.
Couldn't. The whole point of this entire 3 weeks over in Melbourne was to make sure I hit that start line. I suppose my feeling was I've put so much effort into this, you know, and there was a good reason why I wanted it as well, because I was, you know, we'll go back to that maybe at some point, but I was offered a significant job in 2005 and I turned that down to do the Commonwealth Games anyway. Do you know what I mean? So it was a big leap of faith for me, but it was the medal that I needed to justify my career.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I felt like I was good enough. Not that I was the best, but I felt like I was good enough to win a gold medal, and my time was close to up. So I thought, this is the last shot. Anyway, 4 days out, they've turned around and said to me, like, what's up? I said, come down to the track, 11.9. I'm like, fucking hell, 11.9's all right. Because I'm thinking I'm going to run 10.9. Do you know what I mean? So I ain't far off. Goes to a press conference later on that day. World press sat in front of me. I know, whatever, cameras, all this stuff. And I remember saying to everyone, I went, there's absolutely no reason why I'm not going to win this Commonwealth Games. If I don't, I'll walk up to the man that does, shake his hand, I'll move on to the next. I'll never forget that, because I remember shitting myself as I said it. And I hadn't even been given the green light. Did another couple of sessions, put me spikes on. I just said to the boys, I said, I'm taking it out of your hands. I'm going to do it. And they went, fine. Because turns out they didn't want to tell me anyway. They didn't want to make the call. They just give me everything that I needed, and then when I turned around and said to them the day before, I went, this is a go. Like, we're going to do this.
Do you think they knew you could do it?
No. Both of the guys now, well, God rest his soul, Neil actually died recently, so, you know, but I know that these guys are that good that they fly around the world doing, like, delegations and talking to people about their experiences, and they used it as a case study where it shouldn't have ever happened. And I stood on the line in the Melbourne Commonwealth Games, and I remember we had points, right? So it's all about points. You know, it's not who wins this event, who wins that event. It's the aggregate points over the 10 events, right? So basically, we worked out how much punishment the hamstring could take throughout the 10 events. So I had to run no quicker. Not that I couldn't. I had to run no quicker than 11.2.
Because if you pushed it, you might injure it.
Yeah.
Got you.
If at first you want to win, the first thing you have to do is finish. Right, and that was drummed into my own head all the way through that preparation. So gun goes in 100 metres. Right, I have a flyer, amazing, probably the best first 20 metres I've ever had in the lead. And then I went, oh fuck, the hamstring. Literally stood up, watched everyone run past me. And for a proud guy like me, that's hard. Yeah. But I'm thinking, just got to let it go. Just got to let it go. And like I said, throughout the whole decathlon...
That's like against natural instinct.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, really hard.
But there's certain events throughout that decathlon that I was okay, given the green light. So, like, I had to run like 11.2 in 100. I ran 11.18. I had to jump 7.20 in the long jump, which, you know, is still far. Yeah. Jumped 11.28. First jump, like, job done. But then the shot put comes. I'm thinking, right, shot put. Coaches turn around and give me these really specific instructions. Smash it. Grip it and rip it. Throw the best you've ever done. Lifetime best. Third round. No throw in the first round. Wow. Get this, no throw in the first round, no throw in the second round, PB in the third round. And do you know the funny thing is, I weren't even shitting a brick.
And how many goes do you get?
3.
So you'd only got one chance. And one chance.
And do you know what? I walked into that circle, didn't even fucking blink an eyelid, mate. I didn't even cross my mind I was going to get a no throw. You know, actually, I sort of opposed the second no throw because that was a long one as well, and I didn't even feel my foot go over. But long story short, did it when I needed to. I needed to jump 205, which is above a door height anyway, but I needed to jump 205 in the high jump. Did that first attempt. Did it so easy. I looked up at my coach and I remember him going like that.
What, as in don't have another go?
Yeah, that's it. You're done.
Were you thinking I might just have
another go? I did 208. So I looked up at him. He went like that and I went, 208, please, Judge. Walked round, I remember, and then I jumped 208, did it nice and neat, because I thought to myself, if I can get a couple of points in the bag, you know, that's a no-brainer. And I jumped 205, so easy. I thought, I've got to do this. You know, so like I said, you have people behind you helping you to try and keep your body together and helping instruct you and all that stuff. But when you're on that track, mate, you're on your own, and the buck stops with you. You know, I was happy to make that call. So jump 208, give myself an extra 50 points or whatever it was, right? Now I looked up at my coach and he's like, instead of going like that, he's going like that. Like sort of thing, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm done. Then going into the 400, right? It's quite a laugh actually, because I remember saying to my coach afterwards, I went, I'm never going to be beaten by a girl, never. So I've gone out in the 400 and the time they've given me is 50 flat. Christina Huragu goes out just before me, runs 49.9. I'm like, fuck that. I ain't running 50 flat, so I run 49.4 or something. I was like, right, okay, manhood still intact, sort of thing. Hamstring still intact, and I'm definitely better than all the girls in the country too. But then the hurdles come. Anyway, long story short, hurdles went okay, discus went okay, and I really, to be fair, even though I had a really dodgy hamstring all the way through, and I felt it all the way through, I managed to maintain that level of intensity that was okay. When they give me the green light to go and smash something, you know, Hulk smash.
Nailed it.
Yeah, but then when I had to hold back, I did. And then comes the pole vault, which is the event that I snapped it in, which really shouldn't ever be an issue. But I've walked out onto the pole vault warm-up, and everything's going well, and I'm 3 events from the end, right? If I'm not mistaken, I'm leading anyway, and I'm thinking, I've got this. Just come on, 3 events, right? I've got this in the bag. And there's a headwind. Now, the one thing with a pole vault is that you can't just run up like long jump and just bring your run up in, because as you lose speed, you don't compress the pole. Like the pole is effectively a 5 metre long, 220 pound fishing rod, right? It's like compressing a lead with a rod like that. You know, you have to have a bit of speed. So there's a headwind, and I can't generate the speed to cover the ground to get in and bend the pole. And if you can't bend the pole, you can't pin yourself upside down and clear the bar. So I'm thinking to myself, right, now we're in a bit of a pickle. Because if I can't make run up, I can't make jump. If I can't make jump, I can't make points. If I can't make points,
we're out.
We're done, right? So I'm thinking, I'm sitting there and I'm sort of getting a bit sort of cold, sweaty, because up until like you can only really like sort of jiggle around with the things that you can control. I can't control Mother Nature. Do you know what I mean? There's a headwind. It's just, you know, shit or bust.
Would it not the same for everybody?
Yeah, but everyone else can push a bit harder.
Right.
I can't. I've got to stay at this intensity. And I've tried pushing harder, and then you start feeling the tearing sensation in the leg, and you think, I'm right on it now. You know? So I'm like, and warm-up's quite a long time in pole vault because everyone's at various different levels. So I'm thinking, I've got to get out of here. Like, I start to have a little bit of a flap. First probably time I've ever had a flap in competition. You know, just deal with it there and then. But I thought, right, so I've gone, like, put my hand up. I need a wee. Walked all the way back to the change room, shut the cubicle door, sat down on the toilet and just like thinking, fucking hell, what's up? And previously, now I'm not, like I said, I'm not a faffer. I don't really believe in all that afterlife and stuff. Previously, we'd only just lost one of my granddads. And I remember, I didn't say it, but I remember thinking it, as real as I'm sitting here with you two, right? I remember thinking, Grandad, if he's up there, have a word. Fucking have a word. Like that. You know, just sort of like a passing comment. That's all it was, as like a passing comment.
As you're having a pee?
No, I didn't even pull my trousers down.
Wow, just went for a little moment.
Just a moment. That's all I want. Just need to get off the track. Do you know what I mean? And watching all these guys warm up, adjusting, I can't do that. You know, I'm not allowed. Anyway. So I'm walking back out to the track and I'm thinking, right, come on, gather your thoughts. Let's sort this out, right? And I kid you not, right? I ain't even shitting you. The flag, the windsock, goes from that, and as I'm walking across the field, does a 180 and starts doing that.
No.
Unreal.
Mate.
Pick me pole up, make me run up, jump a season's best.
And it's your go?
Yeah. Jump a season's best, 470, right? So my PB's 480, so super competitive. Throw the jav, smash the 1,500 metres, win the Commonwealth Games.
What a story.
I've got to put that picture up again after that story.
Look at that.
And I was so convinced that I weren't going to... Like, who turns up to the Commonwealth Games with a bloody mop on their head like that? I was so convinced. I was so intent on getting it right that I didn't even think about cutting my hair. And I look back on that and all I can see is me frothy hair.
All right, Rooney, carrying on from gold, mate. We've got something a bit different for these last two, haven't we?
Yeah, hard to build Olympic gold as such, or World Championship gold. But we're going for double golds.
We are going for double golds. Now, we haven't actually got a number 2, have we?
No, it was so hard to pick. But going on the theme of gold medals, we're going with 2 lots of double gold. Starting with...
Well, it's got to be Steve Ringer, isn't it?
Got to be Steve Ringer,
let's tee up Ringer first, because we won't. Everybody will probably guess by now what number 1 is. But Steve Ringer's, for me, I'm only very new into angling, but it's obviously an iconic moment, and you were there.
I was there, yeah.
Tell us a bit about it, mate.
I was there, yeah. Well, we're in Ireland, so we were, apart from the Irish, pretty much favourites.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of time out there. For me, the 2 weeks training before, I sort of knew that he was going to be there or thereabouts, or many of the England team were going to be there or thereabouts. We had it sorted. We found a method and it worked. And wherever we went, we caught fish doing it. So obviously towards the end of the training week, we had to keep it a bit quiet. But you just knew if one of our lads had a decent draw, there's a chance of a gold medal. I'm very confident as a team, which was the first goal we needed to achieve. But it wasn't the team gold was probably a lot easier than Steve's gold. There was some magicians out there on the bank, and I think it come down to the last day between Steve and Felix.
That's it, I remember.
And I was in Felix's section. I was running the bank for Steve's brother Phil. And basically Felix had drew in the middle of the section, and you wanted to be at the end of the section, and Phil unfortunately was right at the wrong end of the section, but fished an absolute blinder for I think it was top 8 in section or whatever. But this Felix he was just a machine. Like, there was all bream in this, like, in Ireland, and this bloke just sat there and caught roach like there was no tomorrow. No one could catch roach like him, and he was unstoppable. But so there was one bloke in the section. I think he was one peg off the end in the section. Benza. I think he was Dutch, one of those anglers, brilliant angler. You put them on decent fish and they slay it. They love fishing worms and that, and when there's big fish. So I knew it was going to be close between them two. And it was even more. I've got like Tommy on the.
You had the radio. This is the bit I remember. The radio
and they're like shouting at me, going, "Steve had won his section." So it was down to weight. So if Felix had won his section, and we knew he was going to have a good weight because he'd like literally roached it front to back in a good area. And he was just like, God knows how many fish he had, 400 or something fish, ridiculous.
So by that point, you've got to be thinking, it's probably not happened, surely.
Yeah, I thought Felix had won it, to be honest.
That's what I mean.
But I spent most of my time with Phil and that first half of the section to make sure he was getting good points, which Phil didn't really need anyone behind him, really. He just had his plan. He's so steady. Went away and did the job. But obviously I was walking up to Felix, checking the end of the section. We knew they were going to catch bream at the end, so I weren't too worried. Just wanted Phil to do well. But this Felix was just so stand out in the middle of the section, just absolutely slaying everyone around him with his roach. And then obviously when it comes through on the walkie-talkies that he could beat Steve, it was quite nervous. And I was thinking, he's won this section, I think. Let's just hope they caught some bream. And even when Benzar pulled his net out, I was still convinced Felix had beat him.
So the bit I remember, because you did quite a good job at... I've heard it from Steve's perspective, and we're about to see it in the clip as well, but you did quite a good job of almost commentating live as you were seeing these fish be weighed.
It was difficult because you're obviously surrounded by all the other teams there, so you're the only English guy in the bank. Obviously there was people watching.
Cool.
I was trying to hold it in, and obviously when Benzar's fish went on the scales and they didn't quite reach it, I knew Steve was world champion, so obviously I wanted to start doing cartwools and jumping in the lake, but I've got Felix's bank runner standing next to me and he's just obviously lost gold.
Devastated.
Devastated. So I was like, he's done it. He's done it. He's done it. And Tommy's going, what?
You're trying to be discreet.
So I literally run up into the hedge, found myself in the hedge and had a little moment with myself, like dancing around in the hedge.
Oh, wow.
But obviously, fantastic. Team gold, absolutely trumps it.
And of course,
and Steve, double gold.
Individual gold.
That's
giving me shivers
that's
hearing
the
that
story.
again.
And Mick Viles also got third place. So we had first individual team, first gold, third individual.
Yeah, what a moment. What a story.
Yeah,
We've got to show him.
Let's watch
it. Do it.
Got to talk about it. Enniscara in Ireland. Team gold, individual gold. Talk to me about that one.
Enniscara was like Tommy was always meticulous for preparation, so we always used to try and go out and fish the venue before. So we went to Enniscara is one of the few venues I've ever fished that stayed the same. So like we went out there, we practiced as a team, and we learnt quite a bit. And what we learned never changed. There were two species of fish, roach and skimmers. And you could fish really short for roach, say like 15 metres for roach, or you could fish like 40 metres for skimmers. But what we found was a depth. It was all about depth. And what the beauty of Enniscara was, the depth varied on every peg. So like, you could have sat next to me, and at 20 metres, you'd have a 6 count. And I'd be on your right, 20 metres, I've got 12.
That's like off a cliff.
Yeah,
face,
so I'd end
isn't
up catching loads of skimmers, and you'd be like, I don't understand this. He's catching loads of skimmers, I'm trucking on the same line, I can't get nothing but roach. Basically, it was all depth. But what we found was a 12 count, we could catch both species. The roach were a little bit bigger than shorter, but equally we could catch skimmers. So all of a sudden, we had what I'd say is the perfect line, basically, whereby you can catch both fish on one line and keep bites coming, and keep putting fish in the net. Most teams went one way or the other. Like Holland went an out-and-out skimmer line, so they fished a bit further out than us. Ireland fished much shorter and said, right, we're going to catch as many roach as possible. So basically we had that one line, and from the moment we practiced there, it never changed. Literally, it stayed exactly the same. So world champs come along, I got selected. First day I was on about a 12-ish. Basically caught a few fish all day, little runs of skimmers. You used to get little runs of skimmers where they come in your peg. So you catch your roach. The secret was just to keep putting fish in the net.
Which is why, in finding that depth that they both lived in, how deep would you say a 12 count is, Steve?
It was a 12 count on a 1 ounce Guru Square bomb. That's the bomb we use for plumbing up. I reckon like 28, 30 foot. Right. But like I had it first out at about 22 metres. So like that was quite short for it, which was good. But the beauty of it was we were like catching similar amounts of fish to most teams, other than Ireland, their fish counts were always high because they were fishing short most of the time. But we'd have like 10, 15 skimmers mixed in with ours, which was giving you... So I think I weighed like 11 kilo and 7 kilo a second.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so like really
Hammered
nice.
it.
Yeah, like brilliant start. And the team, I won my section, Mick won his section, I think Phil was second, Dean had a tough draw at Garden Centre. There was a section at the place called the Garden Centre. I was on what they call the Greenway. A, B, C, D were on the Greenway. That's like all in a line pretty much. Dean was on the Garden Centre, and
Catch
Dean,
some goldfish in that there.
No,
Carp and
no
stuff.
goldfish. But you had to draw the far end. Dean drew in the middle and fished brilliant. I'd had like 10 kilo plus of just roach and got I think fifth, sixth, seventh, fifth. I think he might have been fifth, which was a brilliant, considering like I think he was fifth, and I think the last 3 pegs all beat him, and then one other. That was a great return. I'm trying to think how I think Adam was second, but we had like a 15-point lead after day one, which is like a massive
clear.
Yeah, but we'd never, bear in mind, this was our, 4th world champs, and we'd never won one. So like, obviously, this was equally the first time we'd led.
What was the atmosphere like that night after that first day when you were so far in front?
I think obviously Tommy came out with the classic saying, "It's a match of 2 halves or whatever. You don't win nothing at half time." And like, I think we were all apprehensive because we always felt we could win every year, but when you haven't won, and there was a bit of a pressure. Everyone was like, "England are the best. England are the best." How can you be the best when you haven't won? So like, not being funny, individual hadn't even crossed my. I got a section win, but I'd had a section win before on day one and hadn't come to anything. So obviously day 2 come, draw up to, I think I moved up to B. Did I move to B or C? I moved to C. Like, and the first thing that became apparent, like I couldn't find a 12 count. I was in a bit of a bay. So like 34 metres, I had an 11 count, but 34 metres was quite a lot further than we'd been fishing. So I spoke to Glenn. Glenn rang Tommy and said, "Are you happy?" And he said, "Yeah, let Steve do what he needs to do. If that's where he wants to fish, let him fish there. So like, I had a really nice start. Basically, it was apparent because it was shallower. There weren't since many skimmers where I was, so I kept winding in roach. My fish count was good. I was like top 5 in the section, not winning, but top 5. And then literally Jamie kept updating me. And basically, what I worked out after about 45 minutes was the skimmers love joker. This is what I knew from practice. The roach liked a bit of chopped worm. So what I saw after 45 minutes, I hadn't caught a skimmer. No one around me had caught a skimmer. So I thought, I need to hang up because you're limited on bait. So you haven't got that much joker. And the skimmers seem to feed late. So what I decided to do was stop feeding the joker because I didn't see any point wasting it. I didn't save it with a particular reason. I just thought I'm not going to keep wasting my joker. So I just kept putting chopped worm in, fishing a single red maggot, winding in roach and odd little hybrids. They're like ounce to 3 ounce, but doing all right. And then I think it was about 3 hours in, Glenn was like, obviously Glenn Lawrence again. He come down, vice captain. He's allowed to come right to where you are because he has the green bib, so he can come up right behind you. And he says, "We've won this. It's done." He said, basically, no one's catching us. He said, Adam's top 3, Dean's top 3, Mick's top 3, you're top 5. He said, Phil was at Garden Centre, but wrong end. He said, Phil's going to be top 8. He said, we can't be beat. And he said, I've just spoke to Tommy, and Tommy says, if there's anything you can do to win yourself a gold individually, he said, now's the time. Because Tommy had always said, obviously team comes first, which I totally get. And he said, but he'd also always said sometimes I might come to you and say, a bit like he did in Italy to me, say, risk it all to get a medal. And basically, Glenn said, look, even if you didn't catch anything else, you're still going to be well up there. The team lead's unsurmountable. He said Hungary aren't doing great, Holland aren't doing great, Ireland are steady, but they're not going to catch it. They're not even close. So basically, I looked at my thing and thought, what can I do? And I thought, I've got all this joker left. Literally, like, virtually my full limit.
And how long of the match?
About an hour and 50 to go. Bear in mind, I hadn't caught a skimmer. No one around me had caught a skimmer. And I thought, I'm going to hedgehog it. Like, basically, hedgehog means get as much joker into the ground bait as possible. And I'm just going to get as much and see if I can pull some skimmers. And after about 3 chucks, I started getting little tiny movements on the tip, like half-inch, little pulls and knocks, like there was some fish there, like round the feeder. What we'd found in practice was maggot was brilliant for roach, but the skimmers didn't. They catch odd uns on it, but not many. So I put it on like 8 to 10 bloodworm, big hook bait of bloodworm, chucked it out, 12-ounce skimmer. Then got like 4 in 4. Then it died off, and I was just. I think what happened was skimmers fed late. Everyone around me, I had Collado from Portugal on my right. I can't remember who was on my left. Basically, they had no joker left. So all of a sudden, I'm like ploughing joker in at a time when the fish want to feed, and I was just pulling them in. You know what I mean? And I went from, I think in the last hour and 50, having not caught a skimmer, I think I caught 14 skimmers and some more roach. So it got to, obviously, Hooter went, and I said to Jamie and Rooney, because you're definitely top 3.
Jamie Harrison.
Yeah, Jamie Harrison was a runner. He said, you're top 3. He said, I don't think you've won, but he said, I think you'll probably be second. And Glenn come down, and I said, what do you reckon? He goes, you haven't won. The Danish lad, Sorensen, he's got 44 skimmers. I was like, blooming hell, 44 skimmers. So anyway, I think I was like C3, C4. So I weighed in 11, virtually identical weight, like 11 kilo, 400 something, same as the day before. And I think Soren was about 8 pegs to my right. And obviously you're not allowed to follow the scales in the World Champs. So basically you weigh in, you have to stay in your zone until everyone's weighed. And then a hooter goes saying obviously the result's final and you can put your fish back or whatever. But you're not allowed to follow the scales, so you're stuck in your box. So obviously the runners have followed the scales. Glenn's gone down there, and obviously they got to Soren, and I could see they were weighing him in, but you don't know what's going on. And I heard him putting his fish on, and I heard a massive cheer. And then you're thinking, is that a cheer for me, or is it a cheer because he's won the section? Then Glenn coming back up, going, you've won the section.
Wow.
And I'm like, yeah, but there's loads of other people to weigh in. He goes, no one's beat you. And obviously they weighed the section, and then it got to obviously Tommy was I heard Tommy on the radio saying who won their sections on day 1. So they started ticking them off, and it got to 1, Felix Schurman from Germany. And they're like, where's Felix? And he's like, he's at the Garden Centre. So Adam Rooney, Dean Barlow, Phil was at the Garden Centre, my brother, but Adam Rooney was running. So straight on the radio to how's Felix done? It's like, I think he's won the section. And I remember, I know we'd won as a team, but like...
You've got that now, though. You know.
Yeah, I've got that close. And all of a sudden I'm thinking, you don't get many chances to win individual. So I'm like, great. And he goes, he's not weighed yet. Blah blah blah, and there's a Romanian, Ben Zarzolt. He said he's caught some bream and skimmers. He said, but he said if you asking me, he said Felix is going to win. So I can't remember exact weights, but they had I think Jamie was with me with the radio, and Adam was on the walkie-talkie. So they weighed Felix in I think 15 kilos something, all roach, which, not being funny, was he was the fastest we'd ever seen.
That's exceptional on a feeder.
All right. And he was in the middle of the section, not at the end. And they got to Benzar, I think it was 3 in from the end. And I can still remember it like it was yesterday. He's tipped his fish in, and I could hear Adam on the radio, I don't think he's got enough. Because obviously everyone had lost interest. Not lost interest, that's the wrong word. The team was done. And it was now about whether I was going to win gold. So I remember him tipping him on, and Adam saying, I don't think he's got enough, as in Benzar, he's not got enough. And then I heard Adam say he's putting him on the scales, and he's like, tell you what, it's really close. It's really, really close. I tell you what, this is too. He's got it. And then all of a sudden, I think he beat Felix by 200 grams.
No,
which made me like.
Get
But I can still remember Adam it's really. I don't think he's. I tell you what, he's got it.
You can hear the radio.
Yeah, not even now.
Head.
Mate, that's just giving me shivers.
I tingle now, like that moment, like Adam's voice coming down. Because I just remember saying, I don't think he's got. I tell you what, it's really close. Really, he's got it. And Adam was trying, because obviously Germany runner was following, so Adam's trying to be a bit diplomatic, obviously, because they hadn't done great as a team, and obviously it was Felix's chance to be world champ. But no, Benzar beat him by 200 grams, and I double gold, which, as Sandra said, although when I first fished in Italy, Sandra's got on, double gold, it don't get any better than that.
Okay, so that was Steve Ringer's. Pretty hard to top that, isn't it?
Mate, you just can't, can you? Well, you can.
Not really. The only person that ever comes close.
Exactly that.
Has got to be the one and only.
Will Raison.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, what an episode. When Will came in, I didn't know loads about him.
Yeah.
Again, very early into fishing, but he had this... Some people have like this aura about them, don't they? And he's just...
He's like Usain Bolt, isn't he? He was built
exactly
to win world championships.
That's it. He's built to fish and he's to win. Yeah. And that's it.
No, he's I've fished with Will for many years now. And
what's he like to fish with?
Well, you don't want to be anywhere near him.
No, I can imagine.
You ain't going to win.
Yeah.
No, he's
got to be quite intimidating.
He's fantastic. So he is intimidating, but he's a true professional.
I can see
he's
that.
very approachable. I mean, when I was younger, fishing like the White Acres circuit and that, Will was very kind, very helpful. Really, really good with junior anglers, the younger anglers, and just, he knows that he's going to beat you, he knows what he's going to do, and he's going to do his best. So he will help you, And I just think he's one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, what I loved about him, mate, when he came in, it's like. He's this double world champion, but as you say, he's down to earth.
So cool with it, isn't he?
It's
a bit like Bennett in that respect.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's very
like
cool,
Bennett.
very cool, very respectful, and he don't miss a trick.
No,
everything is recorded, noted. And he mixes with some fantastic people throughout the world, and probably him and Steve are probably. Now, in this era, probably the two most famous fishermen there is.
They've got to be up there. I mean, it's hard to. Everyone can see why we couldn't separate those two.
Yeah,
moments.
you can't pick between them. So, both double golds.
Exactly.
I mean, Will's won so much.
Yeah.
We could talk about
we
so
have to
many
sit in
competitions.
ages and skip through everything that he'd won.
We're like, which competition we're going to pick? And it's like, how we can't pick.
I did like the stories of where he told, was it Des, where he told the stories, but he smashed the pole in the storm, and then they played that trick on it. They were brilliant.
Des sliding down the bank and breaking his pole. Yeah. And then what was it when they were slider fishing with the big sliders?
Yes,
snapping every rod. Will just loves that, doesn't he?
You can tell he loves a bit of a wind up, and they were brilliant.
Yeah.
But as you rightly said, mate, you cannot avoid this one, can you?
2008.
Yes.
I can't remember.
Spinadesco
Canal. Yeah.
Mate,
I can't. And I think he was next to like one of the local.
That's it. He was
heroes.
next to the favourite, wasn't he? It was the favourite. I remember him saying.
Yeah.
And this guy apparently goes to this venue all the time and just smashes it up.
But that's a lot of Will's career. He spent a lot of his career drawing next to the best.
Yeah. He looks like he thrives on that.
Oh, he does, yeah.
Just like,
he does.
I'd probably get there and that's it. My knees would go and I wouldn't be able to do it. Great. But he gets there and that's like, it's almost like, that kind of fuels him.
Yeah, that's what he's built for, mate. And he's brilliant at it. And all his stories throughout the whole podcast were amazing. You know, it kept me gripped through the whole thing. One of my favourites. And obviously, I did say in my podcast that he's probably, for me, the best angler on the planet. All around. Just unbelievable. But they've all got their brilliant stories.
Mate.
This one's a cracker.
Let's play it.
Yeah, let's play it.
I mean, the highlight for me, for my career, and it's talking selfishly a little bit, but was winning in 2008 in Italy, and the team winning as well.
Double gold,
absolutely fantastic feeling. Alan's had it obviously before. A few of us.
God, what a clipping that is!
Look at that.
Yeah, and I think it's a brilliant clip, that, because I think the sort of headline sums it up how I was probably feeling at the time.
It's about
I'd had a second, I'd been close, and having been there in that arena for a long time, it's such, and easy's probably the wrong word to use because it's never easy. But given a little bit of luck on the right venue and you're a good, capable angler, you can win it. But you can be a fantastically, rounded match angler and not get that little bit of luck and never win it. And as much as the team's important, and I'm not going to lie, the team is important, the most important thing, that's what we go there for. Did I want to be individual world champion? Yeah, I did, 100%. I'm not going to lie, of course I do. I'm not going there to do it, but if I can go there and help the team to win or do well, and I can win it individually, why wouldn't I? And I always say the team comes first, which it does, but closely followed by the individual for me.
Yeah, you are. That is the competition where you are officially the best fisherman on the planet. And that means a lot to good anglers.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was just, and there's again, little fact that people don't know. It's the only one that my dad never came on.
Wow, I find that quite, I don't know whether to say it or not, I think that's quite sad because even when I've been coming to watch...
It's either sad or he's my bok.
But I'm used to seeing John on the bank.
I mean, all the junior ones and all the senior ones, there's one or two he hasn't been on since because of his health. But he's that 2008 was when he had his first couple of major operations and he couldn't come.
Wow.
And it was, out of the whole experience, that is what the only thing I would change would be that.
To have your dad there. Did you speak to him on the phone straight away?
I spoke to him on the phone the next evening. Was back in England, took the trophy into the hospital, put it on the side. He introduced me to his surgeon who was there, and Mr. Gudgeon, who I was like, yeah, all right, of course it is. What's your name? He's like, no, my name's Mr. Gudgeon. I'm like, oh, right, okay, sorry.
Sorry, Mr. Gudgeon, sorry.
Unbelievable, isn't it? It's just like my dad, like there on his bed, just come out of a major operation. And he's gone, yeah, it's my surgeon, Mr. Gudgeon. I'm like, yeah. All right, of course
been an epic wind-up, that, actually.
Yeah. I'd have bought you some fluoro pinkies in if I didn't know. And you'd have liked it just as a snack. But no, and it's good.
So, World Championship 2008 in Italy. Spinadesco was the venue.
Yeah.
Give me a little rundown, because I've never had the heart-to-heart story of exactly what that venue were like, what the fishing were like.
So, if you can imagine a deep shipping canal, an old deep shipping canal, full of silt, concrete sloping banks both sides, concrete out to about 7 metres and then just silt. It's a venue that the Italians have fished a lot. They've had a lot of their Eccellenzias, which is their Division 1, various different big matches, and it's gone through phases where there's been a lot of carp, a lot of asp. So
what's an asp?
So an asp is like a predatory fish. It's like, if you could imagine a big angry bleak with teeth, it's that sort of thing, but small teeth. They're not like ferocious or anything.
Sounds more interesting than a bleak.
Yeah, definitely. And they fight a lot harder and they get a lot bigger. I think Stevie on the second day had one about 3.5, 4 pound.
Wow.
But it was a fish we did catch a few of.
There's a few pictures of.
Yeah.
Quite a big one.
Yeah, lovely fish. And do you know, we fished in practice and we were loose feeding maggots, red and white maggots, and they only had white maggots in their mouth.
Never.
Yeah. It's one of the strangest things I've ever seen in fish.
So you would
get 2 pints of mixed maggots, and we were feeding them on the top 5 on this slope, and you would get one in, and you know, like sometimes chub have got the maggots in their mouth. They only have white maggots in their mouths. So we knew then, well, if you want to try and catch I mean, we were hooking bream there and carp. But again, we got the heads up when we went there. We went there for 2 weeks. And the unofficial week, it's a massive canal, a bit like the Gloucester, so you can go 10 mile away and fish. There's loads of it. And we caught a load of fish in practice. It was really good. But one of my friends from Darwin, Italy, he said that quite often after the matches, when you throw your bait in, like on a commercial England, the carp are here, so there's a lot of, so in practice we started throwing some maggot shorts. Stevie again that came up with that, and we hooked some big fish, and I was the only one in the team the first day that never had a bite there, but obviously I caught quite well on the long pole, and the second day I never had a bite there, so it didn't pay off for me. But I know Stevie caught some decent fish there. I think Alan the second day had a big bream there, but just a fantastic place. But that sort of industrial sort of feel to it, you know, like a bit of an oil slick and some factories about. And first day I actually drew opposite this cement factory, which is renowned for being good and more carp, and again you can imagine the sort of scene set. Been catching a few fish in practice, quite fancy it. The Italians are obviously red hot favourites. Massive crowd, and when I say massive, I mean probably apart from Paris, and it was on par with Bulgaria, you know, like a lot of people there. Italy and Hungary are my 2 favourite places to fish. And that isn't necessarily, or isn't just because the fishing is fantastic. It's because of how passionate the people are about fishing, and how many people are passionate about fishing.
What's that atmosphere like, Will? You're at your peg and there's all these people.
Love it. Like, I'd do it every day of the week if I could. I don't know if the anticipation before is more what gets me, but when I'm there, I love it. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to, you know, you get it on smaller matches and that, where, you know, you might go on the local canal or commercial, and you don't really want people watching you. You just want to have a day on your own, you know. Like, I enjoy, but at that level and in that arena, I just want everybody to sit behind me. I just, you know, I love it. That's what I want to do.
Awesome.
Also, in those events, you're protected by the, you know, the crowd's controlled. They can't come right down to the bank and affect you. So if you've got 5,000, 2,000 people behind you and someone's got 2, it doesn't really make that much difference if they're 25 metres behind you. And like I say, the Italians are red hot favourites. Sorti was the local lad. He was the man. He was the one that was Italy were going to win it as a team, and he was going to win it individually. Get to Mapeg the first day. Knew it was a good area opposite this concrete factory. Like I say, confidence was high. Massive crowd. Who am I next to?
Sorte.
Yep.
Wow.
And it's like, I've got this thing, right, in my fishing career. I don't do things by halves, and I mean, the draw makes it, I make it difficult for myself with the draw. Go to Partridge, draw next to Andy Bennett. Go to Italy, draw next to the favourite Italian. Go the first World Championships, draw next to Desque. I can remember one of the first big finals I fished for Dorking was in Denmark on the River Guden. Drew next to John Allerton.
Never.
It's just like, oh my God, it's just like, but I'm not complaining, because I think that's a good way of getting the best out of yourself. You know, if you know you cannot make a mistake. Your decisions, your timings, your gear, everything has to be bang on. Then you're going to perform to the utmost of your ability. And yeah, like I say, I had a brilliant match with him. Caught, I think, 13 kilos of carp. Had a few skimmers, a few Carasio.
And what were the tactics, Will? What methods were you using? What were the feedings?
So, obviously we had the short line, loose feeding some maggots. But it's one of the first years, and this is when the best way to fish on a lot of venues was to ball it short and cup it just past, which is where the little dolly butts come in. And this was exactly the same. Just fantastic fishing. Very cat and mouse. You're not fishing for lots of fish. But odd fish are game changers. Odd 3-4 pound carp really make, And I can remember, and this is what was so nice, is I was next to, the local lad, the red hot favourite, fishing for the favourites. And this Italian crowd behind me, they clapped just as loud when I caught a fish as when he did.
That's fantastic.
And it's just one of those memories that I think, do you know what? Because I've been in a few times with fishing, people make no bones about it. They don't really want you to. There's a bit of a sigh when you hook a fish, and oh no, he might beat you. And it's like, but, it's all part of the course, but it was just a fantastic day. And I think I did win the section. I think Sorty was second or third. I think I had 13 kilos, he had 11.
Close battle.
Yeah, I had a couple of decent fish about halfway through, just after halfway through. Game changers, like I like to call them. Wherever you go, they live. Don't matter what venue you go on, there's fish swimming in there that are game changers, and they're the ones you got to catch to make it easy for yourself. Yeah, fantastic. Went back. I think we were winning as a team, or thereabouts. Sean had done well. Des had done well. Stevie had come, I think, third. I think Alan was about 10th or 11th. Got a feeling Alan lost a decent fish. That he hooked in close, probably a big carp or an asp. But again, in those sort of close quarter combat situations where you can't let them go far, you got no choice, and you're going to end up getting broke. But and the second day, slight bit of luck. I drew second to MPEG. Didn't have anyone around me, but again, I know I keep saying it, but with the utmost respect, I didn't have an angler that I knew around me. The Italians were down the other end of the section, big sections as well, 30 odd pegs. The French, the Hungarians, all out the way, and it sort of took the pressure right off. After the day before, it's no matter who you got next to your World Championships in Italy with loads of people watching, you're up against it.
Of course you are.
But then it's just added pressure when you're, go and sit next to him and see how you get on. It's like, and I can remember that sort of, I was even more relaxed and a sort of sense of relief when I got to my peg, and I didn't really know, for all I knew, they were absolutely brilliant. Better than whoever I'd been next to the day before.
It's a world championship.
This is it. So you don't know, but that sort of, and it might have been a bit of a false sense of sort of security stroke confidence, but it did me wonders. I was just relaxed, and again, caught some fish early, caught some skimmers, caught a couple of carp, and again, this is where it comes down to it. All of the runners doing a fantastic job. I'm sat there, the hum of the crowd behind you, caught a few fish, and this voice came through the crowd. John Desk.
No.
William, I have walked your section. Nobody is catching any fish. Your rig that you have there with the long... We had like a rig just to swing out past our bait. Hardly ever used it. He said, your best chance of a bite now is from a Carasio past your bait. The rig with the long line. Please, for me. He always used to say this. Please, for me, do it just for... And it's like, yeah, okay, went out there, flicked it out. First chuck, I had an 8-ounce skimmer. Just held the float up. I thought it was stuck on a bit of twig or something. Just struck, and it's like, bang, like skimmer, right? Flicked it out there again. I had a 2-pound Carasio.
No.
Now, I've never, ever looked at the results and thought, I wonder if and what, because I caught the fish. You know, like I might have caught a 6 pound carp if I was fishing on my bait. Don't know, might not have done and not won the World Championships. But again, it's those little tiny bits of info off of people that I would trust with my life, you know. And, you know, you can't beat it. And word came down the bank that Des was struggling. There was a couple of real bad silty areas. Most of it, you could drop your plummet and you get a little bit of a sticky sort of 2 or 3 inches. But some of it was like a foot or 2 of silt. Horrible.
Oh, no.
And Des had drawn one of these and was struggling. And Des had caught as much as anyone all week. It was right up his street. You know, cat and mouse fishing for odd quality fish on a commercial type place. There's not really anyone better, you know. And he'd struggled, and word came down the bank that, you know, we're not really too sure, and this, that, and the other. And then the match actually finished, and Mark Downs just came straight up to me. He said, "Look," he said, "I've done," and he's very, very quick. You know, he should be on countdown, Mark, because he's just like so quick at working points and this, that, and everything else out. And he's gone, "Look," he said, "I think we've won it as a team, and I think there's a, you know, if the Italian, if you come second, the Italian up the other end had caught like 15 kilos, ridiculous outside. He said, if you can come second, I think you'll probably win." It's like, okay. And like,
how did you feel at that point when you were waiting?
I mean, a bit nervous, and you're thinking, yeah, I've been here before. You know, I was second in Italy in '99, beat by like nothing. Obviously, by this time, I'd won the Europeans, I'd won the Six Nations, so I was quite. But this was the one, you know. Like, I wanted to win it as a team, and I wanted to be world champion. And it was like, yeah, I've heard it all before. You know, there'd be some bloke in the middle of the section that nobody's seen that's got, you know, it just, you know, but it sounds good for the team. And then Mark Downs it must have been 20 minutes after we weighed in. I think I had 11 or 12 kilos. And Milo came up to me and he said, "Yes, you're a world champion." And I'm like,
Milo Colombo.
Yeah. Again, fantastic angler, good friend. And I'm like, "Is that for sure?" He says, No, but I know you are. And I'm like, "Well, I don't." And then Mark Downs has come running down the bank. He's like, "Yeah, we won it and you're world champion." And I'm like, and then
and how did you feel? Did you know at that point you definitely won, or did you still?
Well, Mark came down and said, I've got the results. We've won it and you've won it. And it's like, right, okay. Right.
You're not telling me you just went, right, okay.
Yeah, but it's just like, it's when winning is completely different when you win, because it's you. You're not looking at someone going up on stage, lifting the trophy up and thinking, wow, he's world champion. You're walking up there. You're, you know, it's just different for me. It's just, you know, like I watch people win things and I think, wow, you know, like what? And I'm like, well, I have. I have done, you know. And it was just like, and then I can remember Mark came back down. He said, "I've got someone on the phone that wants to say hello to you," and he got my dad on the phone.
Amazing.
My dad's like, "I can't believe it." But I said, I said, and there's, I've got some footage somewhere on a CD of me just sitting down on my box, just talking to my dad, and it was just like, and I can remember saying to my dad, "I just wish you were here," and he's like, "Oh, shut up, just enjoy it." He said, "You're world champion." He said, "I'll still be here when you get home." And it's like, you know, just, right, okay.
What a moment.
And, yeah, just, you know, and the presentation to be there with, you know, Stevie, Alan, Des, Sean, who's become a very good friend, awesome angler.
What a picture as well.
I think that's quite an appropriate picture, isn't it?
Stevie. I mean,
we've got Stevie Gardner.
Apart from the medals being the wrong way around, it's quite good.
We've got a picture up, folks. Anyone listening, Steve Gardner and Will. Will's obviously got the individual trophy, and Stevie's got third place individual as well.
Yeah, Steve was third. Yeah. he's got a lovely trophy there, Steve, and I had one exactly the same, but Des snapped the rod off.
No.
When we were jumping in the canal afterwards. It's just so. But I've still got the rod and the trophy, but obviously they're in separate places. But that really does, that really sort of just...
When you look at that now, Will, what are we now, 13 years on from you winning it?
Yeah.
How does it make you feel when you look at you holding that trophy now?
Grateful. Grateful to have ever got there. Grateful for the management to have had trust in me when I was younger. Grateful to Stevie. Grateful to my dad.
As we've had some wicked clips. Mm-hmm. Thank you for coming down. I know you've been busy today.
No problem. No,
only really because of Matt's fault, really,
basically. I haven't done any of my own work today, but no, I really enjoyed seeing the clips again.
Yeah.
I think I'll be listening to a few of these on the way home.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. And like I said, I've enjoyed every episode has had a set of highlight clips.
Definitely.
But we just hope Matt's watching this while he's busking on the side of the road.
Yeah, I hope he's making a few quid now. Yeah. But you're feeling lovely for him, mate. So
I need the bigger beard next, I reckon.
I don't know. I think you're pulling it off.
Cheers, mate.
You're welcome.
Thanks again.
Cheers, mate.
The Fishing Gurus podcast.